Hello, my name is Braganowski.
And I'm Awesome Rouse, and you're watching The Inner Gamer On.
And today we will be talking about both WB Games Montreal and Rocksteady announcing two new games that are coming out to the Arkham-Verse at DC FanDome. We have Gotham Knights as well as Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Those games were announced, revealed, lots of cool stuff to talk about it, so let's dive right in.
Yeah,
here we go.
And if you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, and bang that bell, because we know you want to.
Well, speaking of bad guys, let's talk about Suicide Squad, which was revealed for Rocksteady in development, coming out in 2022. So we got a little bit of time before that one comes out, but they revealed a very cool, unsure if it's a in-engine trailer. It feels to me that it's probably in-engine. Obviously not gameplay necessarily, but it showcased the four characters that they revealed in here, which are, we got Harley Quinn, we have the Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark. And it is there's a lot of personality to this trailer, I felt, that came through that I didn't expect necessarily. Because whereas like the Arkham series that we've seen up to this point has been very dark, very like just dark, I guess is kind of the best way to kind of describe it. But this is like, I heard a lot of people reference this, but like a Sunset Overdrive kind of feel. If you remember that game, so it had kind of that more colorful, more kind of there's a little bit of that humor thrown into, which I mean, with Harley Quinn, you can't really avoid that. But what did you guys think of the trailer reveal for Suicide Squad?
So I will say, I think my favorite comment on the YouTube video was, "Wow, they unveiled a new character that Rocksteady has never done before, Sunlight." That was so funny.
That's a very good point.
No, I think I thought the trailer looked really fun. Honestly, we didn't get any gameplay or anything like that, but the cinematic itself was beautiful. It was really goofy, and I felt like the characters, even though we don't really know too much about them, especially myself as somebody who really doesn't know comic books all that well, I felt like I was intrigued, like I was in whenever the banter happened, right? Like kind of wanted to learn a little bit more about each of their individual backstories. I wanted to learn a little bit more about their dynamics. And that's the whole point of the trailer, right? It's all just to show these weird group of misfits, like somehow putting aside their differences and begrudgingly working together to get something done. And I think on that front, the trailer did a really good job of just showcasing that sort of thematic element that I think the end game should have overall.
Yeah.
So whether the finished product is going to be super polished or if it's just going to look more pretty than it will actually offer gameplay wise remains to be seen. Unlike the Gotham Knights trailer, they actually didn't have a gameplay section that we could watch at the end. So I'm still trying to figure out how things are going to work. I know we talked a little bit about this before we started recording, but maybe if it's going to function less like an Arkham City and more like a Borderlands meets Batman sort of thing, it could work.
Yeah.
But, who knows?
Yeah, it was very interesting. I mean, they just, covering a couple of the highlights of what they showcased, not just in the trailer, but just through the whole reveal of this. They mentioned that they showed at the very end, Superman, he popped up. He looks evil. He's got red eyes. I mean, he like literally killed somebody like right there in front of you. I was like, that's crazy. And I don't know what that, and I'm not familiar with the Suicide. I never watched Suicide Squad movie because I heard how not great it was. So so like I avoided that. So I don't know anything about Suicide Squad or what their involvement is, but that's what kind of has me excited to jump into this game from a fresh perspective, not knowing who these characters are that much. I mean, obviously I know Harley Quinn, I know Superman, but like King Shark and like all these other characters that are in here, I don't know anything about them. So I'm excited, having just been introduced to them here, what that will look like as I get further into the game and just see them for the first time and see how Rocksteady brings them out. And so far, I'm like you said, I love the banter between all the different characters. I thought that was really awesome. And they did confirm that this is 1 to 4 player co-op. So if you're playing single player, you'll be able to think of Grand Theft Auto 5, where you could switch to any character in the game whenever you wanted to. So you're
Oh,
like,
that's
I'm done with this
awesome.
character. You can jump over here. That's gonna be that's what they kind of set this up as. Is you can be like, I'm done playing Harley Quinn. I'm going to jump over this character, and they're all like, you just transition to them in the action as it's unfolding. And I think that part is going to be just super sick, because you can like just use them together with those different combos and maneuvers and be like, okay, I'm going to send Harley Quinn over here, hit some people with some bats. I'm like, oh, King Shark's in a badass battle. Let me jump over to him real quick and, you know, kill some people. So that stuff is really interesting. And then obviously when you're playing with your friends, then you can have the full set of characters in use and run through that. So that'll be pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's a much better system than what I had in my head, because while you were making the right choice thinking Grand Theft Auto in regards to character switching,
Yeah.
I was thinking Donkey Kong 64, like a barrel mechanic where you have to jump in as a character to switch over to somebody else.
Yeah, that would
Probably
be
a
interesting.
little less fluid.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Well, I gotta say, like, Suicide Squad is not my biggest thing. I just watched the trailer. It looks cool. I mean, I think the general idea of what they're showing is interesting. Best part about it was Superman, because I know he's evil in some of the comics, so I'm curious to see how that turns out. But I wouldn't say it's a game I'm not as excited for it as I was for the Gotham Knights. So
Yeah.
it's
That's
like
fair, man. That's totally fair.
cool.
I mean, that was the same thought I had when I first saw it too, is that I was a little underwhelmed by what I saw, just because, you know, like, and that part of it is because I have such high expectations for Rocksteady. Like,
Yes.
I see them, whatever they bring out, it's going to blow it out of the water. And then this was like, it looks great, but I already had this vision in my head of what I expected the next scene to be. And this isn't at all what I expected. But the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of warming up to this idea. And I can't wait to see gameplay, but I'm excited to see them kind of I mean, they took Batman, put him in a game, and made me love every bit of playing as Batman, not just because it's Batman, but because the game was just fucking awesome, like throughout the whole entire
good.
thing of like
God,
the combat, all that stuff was just solid through and through. So I'm sure they're going to be able to take these characters and not only make these characters super exciting, but I'm excited to see what they do with 4 different characters now that you can play as, and how they interact with each other and play through the world. And they talked a lot about gunplay and then melee combat that they've been working really hard on with the different types of characters, and the fact that this is a continuation of the Arkham-Verse. So they're building this whole world. So Gotham Knights,
awesome.
this game, all the Arkham games, they all tie into the same universe. So you'll be able to see a lot of like storyline threads that like bring it all and unify it together from game to game, which makes me want to go back and replay the old Arkham games, which how am I going to do that? I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see.
Probably sitting in your Steam library right now,
Oh,
collecting dust with all the other unopened games that you've
Yeah.
bought over the years.
You know it. You know it.